Good morning. Part 2 of my dashboard stream, build a dashboard stream. And yep, so we're live. I'm just checking. Today it seems that Twitch, in my case here, is 10 seconds behind, which is a lot. I didn't see that much of a delay. I talked about this the other day, how different browsers seem to have different delays. And usually Chrome is pretty good, showing lagging about 4 to 5 seconds, but today it's 10 seconds. Safari seems to be particularly bad with up to 20 seconds. But what I'm talking about is if you send a chat message, then it happens all asynchronously. Keep that in mind. But I may not be able to answer this immediately. Also, the other thing, I'm not 100% fit today. You notice typically I'm doing these sessions while I'm standing, and today I decided to remain seated. I don't know, caught some bug yesterday, but I should be fine to do this stream. So what are we going to do today? Maybe a quick recap of what this is about. My daily morning routine is something like this, and I'm trying to, maybe I try to show you. If I get up after making breakfast for the kids and preparing their meals, what I do is I do the following things. I go ahead and I check out the website of my gym, and I go to this page here, /WOD, workout of the day. And here I just see what's the workout of the day. So what to expect today. I'm gonna zoom in a bit here. I see this is what it looks like. What do we have today? Hang, snatch, high pulls, whatever. So I check this and then I decide, yep, I'm gonna sign up for a class. Then next thing I do is I want to check, well, how much energy did I use the day before? This is related to the solar roof that I have got on my house. So what I typically use is this application here. I'm trying to show this because I am using the phone. I go in here and I fire up this app. I'm going to show you that in a bit. Maybe I can just mirror this to the screen. It's maybe better. So let me see if I can do that. Let's fire up QuickTime here for a second. We got a new video recording. That's me. So let's switch here to the iPhone. So there we go. So this is the app that I'm looking at, and this application tells me how much energy am I producing here, and well, how much of the energy am I using, and how much do I have to buy on top of that. That's the other thing that I check. So this just gives me some info about, well, when to run the dishwasher, when to turn on the washing machine. And it also tells me when, for example, would be a good time to charge my electric vehicle. So that brings us to the third thing that I typically check. That is, well, what is the state of charge on the EV, on the electric vehicle? So I'm going to use the Tesla app to do that and check that out. And then there's a fourth thing that I regularly check, particularly in winter time, that is related to my central heating unit, and that's how many pellets are left in the storage. So this is a wood pellets powered central heating unit, and you see this here. It says pellets. So this means that I regularly go down to the basement and see what is left there, but I figured out that there's a computer built into this central heating unit that also exposes an XML based API, so I can read that. And so I thought, well, instead of doing this using different apps, I rather have some sort of dashboard where just at a glance I can see what is going on with these things. That's just a little project that I'm working on. So I want to get a dashboard like this, be it in an app or be it in the browser, has to be decided yet. It's probably going to be some static website, as you can see here. Maybe I'm going to zoom in a bit here. It's going to be a static website where I get information about all these things, and it should update regularly and automatically. It should use something that is running in the cloud, that is serverless, where I only pay as I really run some code. So I decided to go with functions. The planning, that's done in part 1. You can find this on YouTube, or you can also have a look at Twitch here at the previous sessions. I don't know what the retention period is. I think it's 2 weeks or something, but you can always find everything also on YouTube. This is where I archive my streams here. Right, so that's what we did last time, and what I then did was I created myself some issues and some things to do here inside the repository over on GitHub. You can find that at Chromalure/dashboard. I have the URL in here. I'm going to put it into the chat once more. So that would be github.com/dashboard. Let me see, that looks right. So there it is in the chat window. You can find it there. And you're welcome to contribute there. You're welcome to make proposals, changes, fix the bugs that I'm making, of course. And I tried to plan out a bit what to do. So this is different from the last project that I did, where I planned everything ahead. I actually implemented everything, and then I just traveled back in time, so to say, and I redid everything here on the stream. Now this time I've got a basic plan that I think will work, but we're just gonna write the code and do everything as we go. But what I did was like plan out some tasks that we have to complete, and I think one of the first things that we want to do today is create the initial project solution. And you see there's 6 subtopics in there, and then we'll get this moving. So I just noticed that I forgot the main thing in here. That would be create a Visual Studio solution, which is what we are starting with. So let's do just that, Visual Studio here. And I think we're just going to go with an empty solution, because this will then contain a functions project. It will contain maybe a website. I don't know yet. So let's go with a blank solution, and then I can organize everything as I like. So let's call this dashboard. We're going to place that inside the cloned repo. Let's create a new folder here. Let's call this source. There we go. Yep. Let's create that. Now I'm never sure what it does, because where's the dashboard here? There it is. Yeah, it always does that. I don't want that. I want to get rid of this folder. So maybe I did not see it, but in older versions of Visual Studio, there was a checkbox that said create a folder or a directory for the solution. I did not see it here. So let's just close that here for a second and fix this. I'm very picky about these things. So that's just the solution file in there. So let's just take this puppy and put it there. I don't want that there. Really, there's no need to have this. We're gonna open. Why can't I open this there? Bummer. Let me open a local folder, open a project. Oh, now I understand. So this is the initial dialog from Visual Studio 2019, but in the background I've got another instance open. That's why. Dashboard source. So we just want that solution here. Good. So looking at what has to be done, what are we going to need? The project is going to involve Azure storage, blob storage. So that is not really related to the solution. We need to do this, but we can do this here. Add an Azure Functions project. That's maybe one of the first things here, switching back. Hey, good morning, Kim. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining. So let's add that. I'm gonna go over here. We need this here, and let's add a functions project. Add a new project, and that's gonna be functions. There should be a template for that. That's what we need. Project name. Well, what are we gonna call this? Let me go back here and look at our architecture. So all these are going to be what I call sources, and I want to start with this one here, with the workout of the day, which is going to be based on screen scraping, some code that I already wrote like a year ago. So what should we call these? Sources? Just sources maybe. Or maybe we want to call them, because there's going to be two types of sources really. If I go back here, you see most of the sources that I have, they are going to be Azure Functions, like 3 of them for now. And I can imagine that I would be able to add others there as the project continues. So essentially I could add anything that returns JSON in this format, but there are other types of sources that cannot run out on the internet because they don't have access to the data that I'm planning to use. So the pellets one is one of these examples. So the central heating unit is not connected to the internet, but it still has this XML-based API. So in the first part of the stream, I said I'm maybe going to run some Raspberry Pi down there and put some Docker image on it that pulls data from the central heating unit and directly uploads it to the internet, to my Azure installation. So maybe we want to call this functions sources. That's going to be the project name. Are really creative, just call it functions like that. And we're going to put this under the source. And again, I wonder where it's going to create that. You see, this is originally in the older versions, this dialog was different. And I wonder if it's going to create a folder now or not. We'll see. So what are these going to be? This will be an HTTP triggered function. If we look at the list of functions here, we find that there's a lot of triggers that we can use. Later, we're going to use a timer triggered one. So I want to have one that continuously checks and polls for new data. It's going to be timer triggered. We maybe going to have one that is database triggered, Cosmos DB trigger. But for now, this is going to be a HTTP triggered one. And it wants a storage account. You see here, it wants access to the storage emulator. So Azure Functions always store something inside the emulator. It's internal stuff that they do in there. You can have a look at the tables they are creating, but not really interesting. And please don't change anything in these system generated tables. Access rights, this is all going to be anonymous. So I thought about that. What about authentication? We're not going to have that. It's rather going to be like the functions endpoint will be something cryptic, some long unique ID, and unless you know that ID, you will be unable to access them. And well, even if you know, there's really nothing you can do other than letting the function run and get back information about what is already visible on that website, the workout of the day, really. Okay, so it has generated that. Now let me double check what it did there in the file system. Ah, cool, it created a functions subfolder. That's good. So it has everything in there. So this function here is gonna be a source, and I'm gonna call that WOD, workout of the day. Like that. Let's give it a name. And we're gonna get WOD. So the other day, we tested a bit what can be done with regards to dependency injection with functions. If you haven't heard about that, this is was introduced at Build 2019. It is now possible to have dependency injection the same exactly the same dependency injection that is used for ASP.NET web applications. You can have this now inside functions, and it means you have to change the structure a bit. So a function is no longer than a static method. It's going to be an actual class. It certainly adds some value, but I think in this case, I don't need it yet. So I cannot think of anything that I would want to really inject here. So I'll go with the good old static approach for now. So this one here is going to be anonymous. We don't need any post support. This is going to be get only. And the route is not going to be null. So functions are always exposed at API slash, what is it, slash function name then? So I want to change that here. I want to make this here, I don't know, just WOD, just workout of the day. And we need a logger. It's good. Please pass a name. Well, why don't we just try if this works? Because what happened the other day was that for some reason it didn't build. Let's just give that a try. And it fires up our function runtime. And it found it. So while I'm there, I could just as well bring up Postman and use Postman and set up some collections so that I'm always able to test these functions. Let's do that. Let's add a collection here. I'm gonna call this dashboard. Can I move that up? No? Come on, I want to move it up. Don't tell me you can't move these. Is it always sorting them? No, it is not. Well, then not. Let's add a, let's just get rid of some of these here. Don't save. Well, don't ask me again. I don't want to save any of these here. Let's create a new one that's gonna go against this API what, and we want to just see if it's working. Should come up here. Please pass a name to the query string in the record. Great. So it complains that we did not pass a parameter here, which is fine, but it reaches our code. So that already works. So let's save this, and we're gonna save it in dashboard, and the name is going to be get WOD, save. Now we have this in here, and whenever I run Postman, I can just quickly fire that up and give it a try. What I like about Postman is that if I'm logged in here, which I hopefully am, yep, I'm signed in here, it will synchronize across devices. So if tomorrow I'm going to use Postman over on the Mac, then I have the same requests in there, the same collections, which is really helpful. Okay, so this is our basic function. Now, of course, we don't want that to return a name that we pass in the query string, but we want that to read data from the website. But first, let's get back here. So we've got this puppy here. We need to do the others first. Yeah, storage emulator. Let's do that while we're there. Let's complete this card here. So here's the storage emulator. If you followed my previous stream, I used the storage emulator there. It's really useful because, well, it emulates anything that is Azure storage related. So you get blob containers there. In theory, you could have a Cosmos DB account. However, if you look here, it says preview. And preview for me essentially means that it's not working. If I try to access that, let's see what happens. It says localhost 8081, all is good. and then it's loading, and then I get unable to retrieve child resources. I don't know, not working for me here. So Cosmos DB locally, not gonna happen, not a big thing. We're just gonna put it into the portal then. But what works really well is the blob storage, and I already have a bunch of blob containers here. So storage emulator and storage explorer are working. Now I gotta go back here to my architecture design and see, why did I think I would need blob storage? I'm gonna need a table storage, which is gonna be Cosmos DB. Yeah, it was about the static side, but really I haven't decided how that works. So we could just say storage emulator is up and running, it's working. If we need it, it's ready. Cosmos DB emulator, well, not quite. So that does not work. Let's go there. I want to change this here because, well, as we, whoops, what did I click? That was the wrong key. That's what's happening if you constantly switch between different operating systems, the Mac and Windows. So where is the tilde on the Windows keyboard? Bummer. I don't know. Wasn't that? It isn't even on my keyboard here. Is it there? No. There? I have no idea. There? So on the Mac it's Alt-N. There it is. Found it. So this one is out. This one's not gonna happen. We're not gonna have the Cosmos DB emulator. I can just put a comment here saying preview version does not work. Note to my future self. This is not working. Okay. So we're not gonna have this one. Now is it refreshing here? Then resource group in Azure Portal. This is all in the Azure Portal. Yeah, let's do that too. Let's prepare that. So this is all set up. And then we go back to the code. Here I'm in the portal, logged in. Well, we start with a resource group. That helps me to organize everything. I'm gonna put this under my account here. So here's something that we discovered the other day. I was invited to another, what is this even called? A subscription? Yeah, another subscription. And by default, the subscriptions of every Azure portal user, they all have the same name. So if you've got a Visual Studio Enterprise edition, the subscription is going to be called Visual Studio Enterprise. That's what it automatically is creating. And so I was invited to contribute to another subscription, which is also called Visual Studio Enterprise. And then if you are supposed to filter here which subscription you work in, it's pretty hard to tell if you're working in your own or in the other person's subscription. So it is possible to rename them. It's a bit hidden, but you can do that. So if you go to your home and you select the subscription, you can change it. It's going to take a bit. So it took about 30 minutes until the changed name would show up everywhere, but now I can easily identify mine. Now let's create a resource group here. I'm going to call that dashboard. And here's something I learned, that there are naming conventions for creating resources on Azure. Like you're supposed to prefix them or postfix them, whatever you prefer. It might make sense if you have a lot of things going on in the Azure portal to know if something that you're looking at is productive versus development, if it's release versus beta, or whether it's a database versus something else. I can imagine this helps. But for me, that resource group, well, it's just gonna be called dashboard. Let's put that West Europe. We don't need any tags. Let's create that. Resource group created. Good. Let's go there, and we want to add something. And what we need is, well, we're gonna need a functions project in there for sure. function app. I'm still looking at the Twitch dashboard. It's lagging a lot today. It's really slow today. App name. Yeah, so that's the thing here. I think I'll have to change this later. So this is where I think I'm gonna make it, well, I'm just gonna make it some cryptic name, but it doesn't help if I do this now because it will be on the recording. So let's just go with what do you mean? Our dashboard is not available? Who would use such a stupid name? Dashboard, that is not available. Dashboard $R. That's available. Okay, let's just do this for now. And then later I'm gonna change and update that or deploy a new one. Subscription, that's good. Resource group, let's use the one that we just created. Dashboard. This is gonna run on Windows. Consumption plan. Yeah, consumption plan. App service plan with functions doesn't make sense because then you could just as well spin up a server in my case, or a virtual machine. Location. No, not West US, Europe. West Europe, there we are. Runtime stack.net. Storage. Yeah, we're gonna need a storage. So let's create a new one. That storage is gonna be called is that okay if I call it dashboard, or does it have to be unique? I think it only has to be unique within my subscription. Dashboard storage. That's good. Application insights. Yeah, fine. Let's create this. There were validation errors. Where exactly are the validation errors? Is interesting. There were validation. Click here. Oh, click here to view details. Well, just read and stop complaining. Please refer. The storage account named dashboard is already taken. Yeah, that's what why are you showing me green check mark here? Let's just rename that. There we go. Deployment in progress. So let's see, what do we have here? Add a resource group. That is done. We're adding a functions project. And we're gonna need this table storage then. Why the table storage? Well, if we go back here, so the idea is that I've got a timer triggered function, which is probably going to be what is called durable Azure function, and that will then pull all the sources. It will just, I don't know, once a day or so, or maybe even more often, it will try to call these functions and read data and then store the received data, and put it into a table storage in my case. Table storage is cheap. I can store whatever I want. I can decide to change the format over time if necessary. So I don't have to worry about any database schemas. That's why I think table storage is the way to go, and I can store a lot of data in there. So this has been created. Awesome. Now we've got our dashboard resource group there. We've got storage account in there. We've got functions app service. Cool. So we're not going to need any of these for now. I just wanted them to be there. Now let's see what we do in here. Services, tables. You see here are tables. That's what we want to do here. You don't have any tables yet, so let's create the table. That's going to be called History, no, history. Let's just call it history. There we go. And this is where it will be exposed. In my case now, dashboard, R table core, Windows.net/history. I'm just going to keep it there for now. And maybe again, so this is done. Can I add a note here? Can't. Anyway, I think that's fine. Let's just add the check mark here, so it's going to move it over. It should. It's not. But this one's done here. Let's close this here. Oh, now it would update it. Got it. So that's this one here. Then the next thing we need is the first source. So that source, something I already started when I created the project. That's going to be this screen scraping function here. So here's what I want to do. The function is going to be HTTP triggered. If I go back here, this is what we want to build. So I'd be able to call that from Postman, of course, but the idea is that our timer triggered function will regularly call that other function and receive data in there. And the function itself, so if I go back here, where's the dashboard? The function itself, which is really just this run method in here, that should not contain any logic really. So this should really only be an endpoint on the internet. And I want to put the logic into, well, at least into a separate file, but maybe even into a separate library. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put all the logic for my functions that I already know about right now. I'm going to put those three here, maybe even the one for the pellets. I'm not sure about this one yet. I'm going to put all three of those for sure into the same .NET Standard library. I think that's okay in my case. I don't have to split that up any further because I can control these. So let's go back here. Dashboard. That means one of the first things that we need here is probably some sort of helper project. Let's create a standard library. .NET Standard library. What is this one here? Oh, Visual Basic. No. And no F# either. Everyone's telling me that F# is so cool. You should learn F#. I tried twice and I failed. Just I always try to compare it to what I know about C#. It's like, man, it's so hard. Even something as simple as printing a string to the screen, you're like, how does that work? So I rather stick with C# for now. What I'm going to call this is, I don't know. I'm not creative with names for libraries. What about infrastructure? Infrastructure. Or just helpers? I don't know. Helpers. Where am I going to use this? So this will be, let's go back there. This will be referenced by the functions, by the sources. Maybe it's a sources support. That could be it. Is this going to be, what else is going to be in there? I will need a way to access my table start. So what I have in here will not have any, it should work without anything that is Azure related. So I don't want a dependency on things like Cosmos DB, database clients. I don't want them in here. So this would only be used for the sources, and yeah, let's just go with that. Sources support. Sources support. What do you, comment here? comment on the chat, you actually talk? Yes, I do. Dum, dum, dum. Let's create that here. Not many coders on Twitch talk and explain crap. Is that so? The ones that I follow, they talk a lot. You should try and follow Kim Philpotts. I put that here. He's talking. And he's funny. Okay. Let's see what we're going to put in there. Class 1. Class 1 sounds like that sounds like an amazing name. I don't want that. We want to have well, actually, here's the thing. If I go back here, create a helper library for screen scraping. So you see, the idea is that we have to reach out to this URL here and get the HTML and extract what is in there and turn this into, well, yeah, probably text only, remove the HTML tags. And it turns out that I already did that long ago. So why that? Well, I did a talk about artificial intelligence and Azure Cognitive Services. And what I did for this project, I created something where it would read the workout of the day, just like I'm planning to do it now. And it would hand it over to an AI, and the AI would analyze what is in there. Like it's mainly looking for, well, about for these words here, like hang, snatch, high pulls. And I would give it a set of data and teach it what are workouts that I like versus what are workouts that I don't like that much. And so it would be able to predict. It would send out a message in the morning saying, hey, there's a workout you're not gonna like today. You better sign up for it so you get more practice. This was a fun project that I did and did a talk about it in Amsterdam. So there is some code there that helps me to extract that HTML, and we want to reuse that. Unfortunately, the website changed. So that's going to be the challenge here. So let's see what we have there. I need this one here, WhatScraper. So this is the old project. And as you can see, it's also built using functions. And there is some helper where it calls get raw what async. I think we're just going to copy that, right? We're just going to copy that. We're just going to steal that code and then see what is in that helper library. Ding, ding, ding. There we go. Where's my... Get rid of this here. And we want to change this. And the result is going to be, well, in my case, it's always going to be a new OK object result. For now, it's just going to return done. I want to change this here, log information. Requesting workout of today. And this is not going to be helpers, but now let's see what this will be. We're going to go over there. What is helpers? Oh, there's helpers. Static class helpers. Got raw what async. Well, that looks good. Why don't we take that? Why don't we take this entire class here? Get prediction async. I don't need any predictions. Send a push notification. Not gonna need this either. So it's really just this here, is it? It's really just this helper method here. that's all we need. Now we can start changing that. So this is sources support, and that would be what helpers. There we go. There's gonna be this method in there. Let's resolve this. So while I'm looking at this, here I'm using HTTP client, and in the intro I said that there's currently no need to think about dependency injection. So here's a possible candidate. HTTP client is meant to be reused. However, the way I am using this function here is that I'm not really expecting that a million people are hitting that function at the same time. So I'm not really worried about scaling out here. However, if I did, then this here would not be optimal, because I would have a new instance of this HTTP client being generated every time this function is called, which is a complete waste of resources here. So then I would have to think about injecting a single instance of that and go with that. But here in this case, it's fine. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to use the functions mainly as a tool to free me from running a full-blown website that I always pay for, and only pay whenever this function is being executed. So what is get raw what async doing? What does it say here? Gotta read my own comments. CrossFitRosen.com extracts the what from the HTML content. That's the plan. The raw what content. What does raw mean? HTML removed? We'll see. Okay, so page content await get string async configure await false. Here's something interesting that I found out only like 2 days ago. I always paid very careful attention to add configure await false to all my asynchronous calls here, because of synchronization context capturing and performance and blocking if somebody's using my methods in a synchronous way. Turns out with .NET Core or ASP.NET Core, there isn't a synchronization context anymore. It's gone. So you don't have to worry about these things anymore. Now, and that means we could remove that. That, of course, simplifies the code. It's less verbose, which I'm going to do here. However, if somebody is now using that particular library outside of .NET Core with the full-blown .NET framework and would abuse it by calling it synchronously, like in this case, get raw what async dot result or something like that, there'd be a chance that this code blocks. But I don't expect anybody to do this, number one. And B, if you are blocking on asynchronous code, it's really your own fault. Then it should block. It should deadlock. That's not my problem. Okay, so what do we have here? Log.error. What is this using? A trace writer? Let's see, that does not quite work. What are we using there? Over in the functions. So that would be what helper. Is it what helpers? Can't resolve that. Add reference to sources support. One of the best features ever in Visual Studio, that it detects where the method is and it can add a reference to that library, to that project. That's cool. Again, configure await false. We don't need that. So what is log? Oh, it's an iLogger. Okay, so we got to change this here. What are you complaining about? Not all code paths return a value. That's very true. There we go. So we need to change this to an iLogger here. Install package, Microsoft extensions logging abstractions. Is that what it's using here? Yeah, that's what it's using. Seems to be the right one. Install package Castle Core? No, that sounds wrong. Latest version, let's go. Okay. Still not happy? Log.log error. This has changed. Could not find log error. Log debug, log warning, log trace, log information. Guess that's what I want here. That's an error. Okay, so what is it doing here now? I've got a regular expression here. Just looking at the term regex makes me shudder. I hate regular expressions. They never work. And I think the other day I read that Miguel de Icaza, he's also struggling with regular expressions, which is, it's good to hear that even the smartest programmers on the planet are struggling with regular expressions. Okay, so what are we doing here? This is looking for a span that says workout of the day, and then this ends with an h1 and then with a div, and then there's some content in there followed by a link to CrossFit ABC. I guess we got to look at this here, see how this has changed. There it is. View page source. So what is it that I want to extract? Let's figure that out. So why is this always twice there? Nothing assigned. Oh, that's also new. So now they have got different tracks. There's the regular track and there's the gymnastics track, and there's nothing assigned for the gymnastics one, so that's why it's showing this one here. All right, let's have a look at the source. What am I looking for? This one here, every 130. Aha. Wow, there's a lot of JavaScript in there. So could it be that this is maybe just an iframe? You know, that's not exactly what I'm looking for, I think. Let me see something. Let's go to my good old friend, the Mac. Just because I know this browser a bit better. So what I want is this here. What am I looking for? And why is this German? Experimental extension, show web information. That's what I want. I'm absolutely positive that Chrome also has this, but like this is what I use. Right, so there we have it. There it is. Yeah, thanks Kim Philpotts for the regex examples. That could come handy in a minute. What is this here? What does this even mean? Equals $0? What is this? Div web widget. Kim, are you an HTML specialist? I don't know what I'm looking at here. So why do I not see this in here? What is this? So if I look at the page source, it's not there. Is that because it's probably generating it dynamically? It tells a lot about how much I know about HTML and JavaScript, I guess, if you follow me here. because it's not there. So I think there's some minimized JavaScript in there that then dynamically loads that from, I don't know, somewhere. But do I even care? I just want to have a look at the completed HTML. So what we are looking for is this one here, I think. This is what I'm interested in. This one. And I guess that's another one then. Yeah, so the question is, what am I looking at here? Because if I view the source of this website, whoops, that's not what I wanted. And I search for, let's fix that. So here I go again. View page source. So if I look here, it says, for example, complete as many rounds. So if I copy this here and I search for this in the source code, I don't find it. So there is no reference for, no match for complete as many rounds. It's not there. But there's a lot of JavaScript, so it's probably loading that from somewhere. Thanks, Kim. Maybe we can find some, because if it loads that from somewhere, maybe I can just steal that content instead of trying to extract that from the source. What are we loading here? Style, assets. Go to the page that you got the source and right click. You mean in here? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm inspecting it over here. So that's the other thing. But I wonder, you see, if I inspect it here, I find it. So that's where it is. Here, it's in there. That's cool. But I wonder, the fact that I don't see it in there, that means it's not directly in the HTML. It's something that is dynamically being generated if I look at that page. And I'm currently thinking, if what we're looking at here, this part here, right? If I could somehow directly get to that instead of worrying about how to extract that from the HTML, that would maybe be an alternative. So I'm trying to see if there's anything in here that gives me a hint about where this is being loaded from. But this just the regular script stuff that I see here. Style, slash what? Ah, there we go. You see this here? CrossFit WJSON embed URL equals slash what? But isn't that what I'm looking at here? Embed slash what? What is this here? Open link in new tab. This is creating an element. iframe. I'm reading an iframe. Where are you reading this from? It's a JSON file. You found it? Where is that? This is why it's loading. URL embed. What else do we have here? Current page. What? Last item homepage. So that's the menu navigation. That's ./what's activities leaderboards. This .render what, so that maybe eventually I'll get there. But I want to wait for feedback on the chat here. Seems like what crazy PKR 1099 is on something here. It just means nothing to me here. Web development. Not my world. Really not my world. Which build the content? So you said there's a JSON file? Is this, if I just go and say I wanna application JSON, there's a lot of JSON references in there. JSON embed URL. So this, what's that character? What is this here? What is this? Copy link. Oh, that's just a slash, right? So that's just a slash. That means, is it there? So there is something there. What do we have there? What slash what? Nah. Ha! Okay. Let's push that back. Let's see if we can just extract it like that, if that works. My only fear now is that it's not going to execute it if we use HTTP client, but we'll see. So this is what we're looking for. P class workout description. I just copy that. That's what we want here. Let's go back there. There. So this is what we're looking for. Come on. Didn't I just say copy? Copy HTML. That's what we want. Well, not exactly. Page content. Right, so we're looking for PTW workout description. That's what we need, and then there's the workout. I guess I need to escape these here. It's funny how I'm always struggling with the backslashes. Where is it? Come on, it must be there somewhere. Let me type a backslash, please. No. How hard can it be? How hard can it be to get me a backslash? Control Alt, it's not there. It's not, whoa, I don't want to do that. It's funny why did you fail the project? Because I was unable to type a backslash, because the keyword layout was different. Why is it not there? It should be there. Control, it must be, it's there, right? No, it's not there. This is stupid. I shouldn't have to copy and paste the backslash over into a virtual machine. But anyway, that's what we're doing. So we need this here. That's what we're looking for. That's what it all starts with. Then we've got the actual workout. Let's get rid of this here. Followed by, you know what the funniest thing is, that I already contacted Parallels support to ask, can you please fix that backslash problem? I'm struggling with it every time. And it ends with, well, /p. That's easy. Let's do that. That's just /p. That ignore case, multi-line. Then what are we doing here? So that should extract us however, there could be multiple of these. I'll have to think about this later. And then we are removing multiple blanks. Does anybody know about a good, thanks for paste, thanks for the backslash. I'm gonna save it in my Dropbox. Does anybody know a good library that would clean up HTML? That would be nice, because I'm removing the tags here as good as I can, but I was wondering already back then if there's a nice little utility function, maybe a regular expression, a good one, that would clean up everything. So if you know one, feel free to share with me. But that's this one. Actually, I wonder, is the address still right? It's no longer DE, it's com. Oh, let's change that. So that's com/what. That's what we're looking at. All right. Put a breakpoint in there. Let's give it a try, shall we? I probably want to add another project in here and test this. Let's add a test project in there. MS test project. That's good. Tests. And all this sources tests. Oh, wow, you're good. Yeah, it's beyond the whiteboard. They're using this API with a key. Okay. So it could be that this is already happening on the server and we don't know the key and yeah. And I don't think we want to go any further here, because I'm pretty sure that they have got, I mean, they, beyond the whiteboard, they wouldn't want us to do that. So now that I will be okay getting that information from this website, because I mean, the manager of the gym is my neighbor. We're good friends. So this will be okay for me. So let's go ahead and get workout of the day should return valid what? They won't know. I don't think they do any analysis. Let's go ahead and give this a try. We want to go with what helpers, reference to sources support, get draw what async. I don't want to have a logger in there. I don't want to have a logger. Nope. Let's just add these checks in there. All right. Sources test, that's what we need. Await, var. And while we're at it, my favorite library for unit tests. I know this is not a unit test. Don't point it out. Let's manage NuGet packages. And we need, or I need, fluent assertions. There it is. Okay. What dot should, it should be able to resolve that using fluent assertions. What dot should not be null or white space. I guess that's pretty much the only check that I can do because it's changing daily. Let's just put a breakpoint there. Let's see, maybe it works. Now, this is interesting. The type or namespace sources support could not be found. Are you missing an assembly reference? I doubt it, because you just successfully built that. What? What's going on? What is this? So sources support, well, let's just see. That's strange. It detected the test and it's telling me it cannot build it. Okay, debug. Maybe it's one of these things where you have to delete the .vs folder. I had this the other day, but we'll see in a minute. All right. So there is something in there, which is great. To help protect your security, your web browser has restricted the file from showing active content that would access your click here for options. Yeah, allow. That's totally fine for me. Look at this, I'm getting a white screen. And Visual Studio is stuck. Oh my god, what are you doing? Dum da dum da dum. That's it? Not responding? Seriously? An error has occurred on this page. No, please don't run any scripts. Just show me. No! Oh, come on. Close it. Yeah, that's the thing. You see, that's what that's exactly what my fear was. It's running a script to generate that, and it won't run if I just get that content. Bummer. Ah. That's bad. That's bad. So what is in there? Could have been so easy, right? But it's not. So here's what we get back. Lots of JavaScript. And there's no workout in there. Ah! That's too bad. So, time for plan B, huh? Time for plan B. So I would have to run a browser now? That be a solution? Really run a full-blown browser instance somehow inside that function so that it thinks it's living in a browser? Or can HTTP client do that? Can HTTP client allow the execution of scripts? Yeah, but I don't feel like using that key there. That just sounds wrong. You're using HTTP client wrong and it's destabilizing your software. Well, screen scraping using web client. That's not really what I want. .NET HTTP client JavaScript. Or just execute scripts. A simple .NET based web client with JavaScript support. Yes, wrap the Internet Explorer COM interface. Major drawbacks. Yeah, it has. I don't want to do that. Let me make this a bit bigger here. Version 1 released 2006. No, not exactly what I'm looking for. Not exactly what I'm looking for. That's too bad. So what are really the options? Use that key? Meh, not really. Use comp? No. Yeah. Yeah, Keith Nicholas using the key, but like I said before, what I understand is that it's really a paid subscription, you know, and they've got their end user license agreements in place, and I don't want to just take this key that belongs to somebody else and access that data. I don't think that's okay. That's not okay. It would probably be the easiest thing to do, but this is something where at least I would have to talk to my neighbor who is running that business and ask if that would be okay, because it's for private usage only. That would be a possibility. A Canadian told me. So in my dreams, a Canadian told me this is the key. I just wrote it down. It sounds totally believable, right? I don't want Apache there. I just exclude that. C#. A Canadian showed me some source code with a big red arrow pointing to the key. That's what you're saying? Ah, let me just see what is in there. So now what I wonder, if nobody's asking a question about that. If nobody's asking, what about HTTP client and JavaScript? Maybe it isn't a problem. Maybe it should just work. Maybe it's just about flipping a switch there. Here's what I wonder. What is this puppy here doing? If I go there to this URL, if I go there and use Postman, what am I getting back here? Yeah, that's what I'm currently trying, I think, using Postman here. Can I search in there? It's not in there either. So it's the same thing here. That's stupid. Didn't consider that. That also explains why my original code at some point stopped working, other than the HTML changing. They went with including that and generating this dynamically. All right. Yeah, I don't know the answer for now. Unfortunately, I don't know. I gotta think about this. I think the best thing for me to do is to ask whether it would be okay to use that key and embed it. You got another idea? Let's see. This is where is it starting all of this? Data title, data text left. Do you need to check the same day, or can it be a day late? Why that? I mean, a day late, no, that probably wouldn't help, but I'm curious. What do you have in mind? Let me know. Now I'm curious. Wayback Machine Archive. Okay. I see. That's creative. That's creative. So I just noticed that I disabled the chat there, but that would be an option for sure. But no, that would not work. So is that the script here? Logo animation. Well, I think here's what I'm gonna do. I'll have to investigate that. I feel like I'm stuck here. Let's add something here. Let's create a new issue. Investigate ways of extracting workout off today. Use beyond the whiteboard key. Run browser instance and functions app to execute JavaScript. Otherwise of Google Cache. That we can have a quick look at that. So you said suggesting if I go here, I search for that. I go to the cached version. And that's from, that would even be from today. Is that always up to date? Is there a guarantee that Google is making about how new the cache is? But anyway, the thing is, the problem is the same, right? It's not in there. So if I view source here, I don't find these either. If I just search for complex in here, it's not there. You see? How did I get the cache? If you go to the search results, there's sometimes this little arrow next to the results. You see that? There, if you go there, you can see the cached version. Fun fact, I once used that to recover my website, which I hosted on Azure, and I discovered a new feature in Azure where you could delete multiple resources using multi-selection, and I was so happy about that that I confirmed everything and deleted my entire website together with the database and everything. That was right before submitting a request for a talk, and I noticed, hey, I don't have my website anymore, and I recovered most of it using the Google Cache. But it doesn't help here. Does not help. Yep. So Google Cache is out. Google Cache is also using script. That doesn't help. Well, then. What do you mean, why doesn't it? Because, so here's what I just did. If I use the cache, whoops, let's go back there. So unless I'm doing something wrong, I'm going to the cached version here. And this is what I'm getting. But if I view the page source now, it's the source from web cache Google user content. It's not in there. It's again this JavaScript, or at least I don't find it. So if I search for every, you see there's a lot of every in there, but there's no, what was in there? Squat, hang, clean. If I look here, see, I don't find any of these. Hang, snatch, high pulls, it's not in there. That's the thing. So it's again executing that JavaScript, I suppose. Just like it would for the real website. So that's not really helpful here. Other idea, what happens? What happens if we print it? If I print it, I would get the content. So the question is, do they... So what if I hit this with a browser that does not support JavaScript? What if it's just about the user agent? So let's see if I go in here. I say my user agent, what do I have here? JavaScript. Deactivate JavaScript. What if I deactivate JavaScript? Yeah. I'm not getting anything here. It simply does not What about a proxy? Selenium Phantom. What is Phantom JS? I don't know about that one. Scriptable headless browser. Development is suspended. More details. Why is that? Dum, dum, dum. Yeah, something like this would maybe be an option. We can even render, it can render a website into an image. That's amazing. Selenium. Yeah, I used Selenium. That would, what are you called? Selenium. Web browser automation. Selenium would maybe be, that would maybe be a very good option. Selenium WebDriver, web-based regression. Is Selenium for free? Is it paid? Or so I like Selenium. I like the idea of, let's keep that in here. So Selenium really is, I'm gonna move that here to the top. That's preferred. That's one option. And the other thing, the idea with the proxy, maybe, is there a service out there where you could just, where this is maybe already implemented, what I'm trying to do here, where you would just tell it, well, turn me the content of this website or this URL into, I don't know, the print version. So that would be, it could even be something like, it could even be a service where you would be able, like a screen scraping service, really. Is there such a thing online somewhere? Screen scraping service. Cloud scraper. I don't want to look at the ads. Screen scraping services. What we offer. Data services, data extraction experts. Yeah, I reckon somebody's sitting there then and tries to extract the content. That looks too professional. I'm looking for something open source, free, of course. Free web crawlers, Octoparse. Yeah, we're getting there. Free easy web scraping, quickly Skype. Step 1. Pricing. Unlimited 10,000, 2 concurrent local 10 crawlers, community, easy support. That looks good. Let's see what this is doing. Why do I have to create an account? Do I have to? Oh well, I don't want to sign up for anything. You see, so this would be, let's just keep this in a, I can't complete this today anyway. So I'm typically streaming for 1.5 hours, so it is impossible for me to complete this, but I'm gonna keep this here. Give me 20 a month and I'll give you an API to extract. We should make a business out of that. I think really my favorite is this one here. And I used to work with Selenium in a previous project that I was involved in. And this worked really well. So I think we maybe want to give this one a try, or really look for something that turn web page into printable. Make a printer-friendly PDF version of any web page, and it has got an API. Where is it? Dashboard? I don't find it anymore. There we go. /WOD. Let's see what it does. Your print-friendly page is generating. And what are we getting there? That worked great. This mean loading preview. Yeah, awesome. We got that far, right? That's not really working. Yeah, I mean, print friendly, save money and the environment. Removes junk. Yeah, it removed that's great. It removes junk. It removed what I was actually interested in. So that does not help. Print friendly in PDF, how to without printing the ads or the junk. Print blah 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 blah. Turn into readable. PrintwhatyouLike.com. Select all bridges. And browserling.com. What is browserling? Live interactive cross. Oh, okay. Windows 10. Oh, I need a paid plan. Well then, Windows 7. Stop scrolling. Let's see, what is this puppy doing here? Waiting in queue. Yeah, it's really firing up that machine, right? That's great for testing. That's great for testing, but not really what we extract from there. But I mean, how many steps do we want to have here? It is let's go with, I think we're gonna go with Selenium. So that is probably the right thing to do, because let's just try that. Let's try Selenium. That to me seems to be the most promising thing. Automates browsers. applications, especially not limited. Runs in many browsers. That's the. Then, however, the thing is, it's gonna run. It's actually gonna run the browser. I don't think I'm gonna get a browser instance inside my Functions app, right? Is that gonna work? So many unknowns. Who would have thought that? Selenium in Azure Function. Has anybody done something like that? Yeah, much success around Azure Functions, like web apps. Oh, I don't wanna containerize everything now. Things like, what is that? Copy link. So Selenium is out. Bummer. Nanu. A note here. Selenium not available in Azure Functions. What did I just open here? This one. NanUI is a library based on Chromium that can let your WinForm application use as a user interface. You use WinForm borders to Bootstrap. What the heck? If you like, I don't know if I like your work because I don't know what it's doing. So what is this exactly doing? A library based on Chromium FX. If it's based on, what is Chromium FX? I don't know about these things. Best bet if you get your neighbor drunk. Yeah, ask him for the key. Yeah, exactly. So, is that Barry's blood? Cool name. Yes, I'm trying to scrape HTML page from within Azure Function. However, that page is using JavaScript to generate its content. So if I just go ahead and try to get that using HTTP client, it's not executing it. There's just nothing on it. So I'm looking for ways to fix that. So it's this page here. Yeah, Keith Nicholas, you're right. If you put it that way, it's really just avoiding the usage of that key. Right. So you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. We've got, for today, we have set up the project. By now, I know that what I originally planned did not work. I mean, that's something, at least, knowing what does not work. We actually found a lot of things that do not work. And the way to go, that is probably asking if I get permission to just use that key. Hoshman, the Besitzer von CrossFit. There are two owners, by the way. But yeah, small world. Yeah, that's so we discussed about going there and directly extracting that. And I'm a bit careful about doing that because
it's using a paid subscription, and so I think I probably gotta ask if it's okay to do that. If they say, yeah, go ahead, then I'm gonna do this, and I think that will be my best option. So I think we'll get back to this in the next next stream. So this is, did I already put an issue there? No, I didn't. I'm gonna add this here. So really what I want to do is this here. Permission to directly use beyond the whiteboard API. So that would be on my to-do list, this one here, I think. Yeah, it is paid. And the key apparently is in there. So that's exactly what we checked out. So if you run that website, the key is there. It's not a big secret, but just because it's not a secret does not mean that I would be allowed to, well, just use it. So I got to check what the license agreement says about these things, and then I think we can continue. But nevertheless, what I did and what I can continue with next time, where's the browser, is, yeah, maybe just switch to another of these functions. I know that accessing the car, that works. I did this, unless they changed that too. And I also have to investigate the solar part. So I don't hope we run into similar issues there, but that's not based on screen scraping. Right, so lessons learned. You never achieve all the things you planned when doing a stream, but we knew that before. I mean, Kim probably has got the same experience. If you plan to do 10 things, you only manage to do 1. And it's always gonna take longer. So we're gonna get back to that next week, next Thursday. And by then I will have a better idea what to use. If you've got other ideas, feel free to check out the repository. And I'm going to put it into the chat window once more. Feel free to comment on that. Feel free to comment on that issue that I created. Maybe you've got another idea and some input what to use here as alternatives if we can't get the key. And then we'll be able to continue there next week. I'm not gonna scrape my car, no. That sounds kind of bad. No, I know for the car there's an API. And I already used that. So I've got a unit test that honks the car horn of my car in the garage, which is pretty annoying for my neighbors, but it proves that this is working. And I also have got this one here working. And I know that has not changed. There's no screen scraping involved there either. And this one here, Solar Edge, I have to investigate. They have got an API that I just think I have to enable. So here's what's really happened. I picked the workout of the day because it seemed to be the best and easiest one to start with. And it turns out it's the most complicated one. An open API that allows you to see information about your car. It's not exactly open, so I need to log in. And no, I'm not gonna put the login credentials into this project. Yeah, it's a Tesla. Yeah, moral is a hard thing. Okay, so I think I'm gonna call it a day here. I appreciate all your help. Gave me a lot of inspiration what to look at, and maybe it's gonna be one of the other ideas here. But I think we should be fine using the key, I hope. We'll see. Maybe I have to keep it a secret to myself, so it's not obvious that it's exposed somewhere. But that should be it then. All right. So I'd like to thank you guys for attending, and wow, almost 2 hours today. So any minute my wife will show up. We're invited to a barbecue party. I'm gonna join there, and I'm gonna see you again next Thursday. Glad you found it entertaining. Thanks. If you haven't, then please follow. And I'm gonna post an update. I'm gonna add an event for next week and continue there. It's again gonna be Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Central European Time. Until then, already now, have a great weekend and see you there. Bye-bye, everyone.